Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel. Evening. Hello, guys. How's everybody? What is happening in Groove Town tonight, folks? So, I'm at the point with these incursors where I can finish them tonight. I transferred them the other day. Campbell, good evening. Nathan, good evening. Alunda, Joel, Timothy. Hi guys, how you guys doing? Hope you're having a good weekend. It's Saturday night, and that means it's hobby time. So, my hobby tonight should... Well, I'm excited to finish these incursors, to be honest. They're not going to need too much work done on them at all. I'm going to do a little bit of, like, tidy up on the transfers that I put on the other night, and then I'm going to call these guys done. So, we should finish these guys very shortly. I did already put a coat of like hard coat over the top of these transfers. I like to do that just to protect them before I varnish them. But sometimes I like to, sometimes I just like to go back in on the transfers, and if there's any parts where they're just glistening a little bit too much, paint over it. This is probably a step too far, but I'm very particular. So I've got like transfers on all these guys' shoulder pads now. And on these yellows, I might. Well, I say I might. I'm definitely gonna do it. I'm gonna hit them with a little bit of Averland Sunset to match them closer to the headpieces. Nathan finished his Furioso Brutalis the other day. And he's now finishing the sponsors for Sicarian. Thoughts on the new Terminators, that's Fox. I'm happy. I mean, the new kits look nice enough, right? Like, I've said many times, I enjoy painting Primaris Marines probably more than I enjoy painting Firstborn Marines. The dimensions of them are just a little bit nicer, they're a little bit bigger. So arguably I feel like I'm probably going to like the new Terminators based on that. And I think the other night we were speculating as like what else we think you might get in that 10th edition starter box. So I think you'll get everything that we saw in that trailer. So I think you'll get like a new Terminator Librarian. I think you'll get like a Stern Guard Primaris squad with combi weapons. I think you'll get the Terminators, and then I think you'll probably get like a, I guess it's like a ranged Redemptor Dreadnought. So a Redemptor Dreadnought with like double las cannon and I think missile launcher. What Space Marine chapter will we get some love for 10? Seems like Dark Angels for sure. Well, I mean, Dark Angels are getting their Primarch back. If that's not love, I don't know what is, right? So Dark Angels are getting their Primarch back. That will probably help them a ton. It'll please a lot of people as well to see another Loyalist Primarch. I hope they make the rules of the Loyalist Primarch quite flexible so that he can fit into more than just a Dark Angels army, but I guess we'll see. It did sound like they're wanting to make... It did sound like they're wanting to make army composition and stuff a bit easier in 10th edition, right? I mean, we know we're getting Commander Dante for Blood Angels. I'd be surprised if Blood Angels get nothing else. Good afternoon, Mark. How you doing? Robert, no painting tonight due to stomach bug. But you're here to talk about the trash. What trash are we talking about tonight, Robert? I think the thing that surprised me the most is, like... I mean, I'm probably pretty happy with that 10th's coming. I'm happy that it sounds like the balance stuff is going to be really looked at and can be more fine-tuned. I think the thing that surprises me most is, like, some armies never got a 9th edition codex. Like, just flat out never got it. And some of the armies only got their 9th edition and codex, like, a month ago with supply issues. So, I kind of always hate buying a codex and not having it last any length of time. So that was the thing that probably surprised me the most. Good evening to everyone tuning in. Hello, hello, how are you? Stuck to be a Salamander player this edition, or, I mean, it's not just Salamanders. Imperial Fists, Iron Hands, Ultramarines, Raven Wing. Sorry, Raven Guard? Not Raven Wing. A lot of people didn't get Codex this edition. I can't read? 10th edition. That's the trash we're talking about, is it? Salamanders are feeling neglected. I think a lot of people are probably feeling neglected. Will the new rules and the fact that they're all digital and the fact they can iterate on them quicker fix it, I guess, is going to be the million-dollar question, right? I hope so. I, for one, I think I'm pretty excited because I think the new edition sounds like the potential game balance is almost like one of the most important things, and I've definitely been vocal about I don't like their current Goldilocks zones, I don't like the current balance of the game. I think there's too much AP in the game currently, and it sounded like they knew all that and they're going to tackle all of it. So if that's all well and true, then for me it's as good as it can be, right? Like, as a competitive player, as someone who's been playing an army that's had a less than competitive codex for a couple of years, I feel like. Yeah, we've had spells where a codex has been decent, but we've never been we haven't been a top tier army for like the whole edition. Not once, I don't think. You could argue that like we Blood Angels won LVO, so because of that, they're fine. You know, in that season they were really good, and I guess that probably was our strongest season when we had Armor of Contempt. But you were still heavily, and I want to emphasize heavily dependent on terrain. And at a big event like that's using GW terrain, potentially you can win, but I mean, I think a standard little event with like not much terrain, you're still going to have huge problems. Kevin's going to finally test out the Brutalis and the Desolators tomorrow. Let me know how that goes, because I haven't started working on any of them. I was kind of trying to think out what I'm going to do on this painting stream tonight, because I was like, I could start building my Desolator and my Brutalises. But I pushed them to the bottom of the pile. I was like, I'm not sure I care about these all that much. I'm not sure I feel like they're going to be good. I mean, I think the Brutalis, if they do reduce in AP a lot, then the Brutalis might actually be really, really good into the new edition. And that would be nice. A melee Dreadnought leading the pack in terms of like really strong Space Marine units. A melee Primaris Dreadnought nonetheless. Margosaurus, good evening. Highland Phoenix, good evening. How are you guys? Are you well? Hope you've had a nice weekend. I'm tired. My daughter woke me up at 5 AM with like her fingers in my beard. And I was like, Annabella, what the hell are you doing to my beard? It's like 5 AM. She's like, Daddy, is it morning time? It's like, no, it's 5 AM. Go back to sleep. What are you doing touching my beard? I'm just trying to sleep, you know? So that was my morning today. But apart from that, my weekend's been groovy, yeah. And it's going to be even more groovy because I'm going to finish a unit. I'm going to finish my first unit of the year here in the next, like, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes. I'm going to finish these incursors. They're going to be done. They're going to be dusted. They're going to be finished. If you were to switch to any other Marine chapter, what would it be? I think it would have to be a fast-moving melee combat chapter, so I think it would be White Scars. But I mean, White Scars didn't get a 9th edition codex, which sucks for White Scars. And also, I don't know if I could be bothered painting that much white. God, I was painting like 10 or 15 Stormtroopers for the Star Wars Legion game I play. And honestly, that was... I don't want to say it was tragic, but like, I don't like painting white, man. I know you... When I started painting white, though, as well, there wasn't really... I know that there's contrast paint now that's pretty good for white. But, I haven't used it, so I painted all my guys white with... I was going to say blood, sweat, and tears, I guess. So I'm actually just painting over the transfer on their shoulder. Those big transfers can sometimes they can sometimes get a bit like get a bit of shine on them, and I'm very particular, so I'm just going to paint Averland Sunset over it. It's going to be a very thin coat, so it might not cover it all the way, but it might match it a little bit more to their helmets. Mark, thank you. I'm going to be so happy to finish this squad. It's going to be the first squad of the year finished for me. These guys were probably going to be finished like late last year if I hadn't broke my arm. And disclaimer, I went skateboarding today. It felt good. My wife was... I came downstairs in like my skateboarding helmet, and my wife was like, are you going skateboarding when your arm hasn't even fully healed? I was like... I thought some things in my head, and I think I didn't really just reply, and I just went skateboarding anyway. Felt a little bit scared though. I did feel a little bit apprehensive about falling again, I guess. Universal rules are bad. Thoughts? I think it's a good thing, isn't? I remember when the only fight was Skull White. God, man, I hate Skull White. Korax White isn't much better, to be honest. I don't use Korax White. I don't like it at all. I think I tried to use it for like wings on my Sangri Guard, and then like after I'd painted Sangri Guard, like using Korax White, I was like, right, I gotta find a better white because this white is just not. I don't. Some people think that the GW White is fine. Some people think it's terrible. I guess I'm in the camp of I think it's terrible. But maybe if you think it's fine, I mean, I'm a very battle ready painter, rough and ready painter, I guess. Do what you do, just be careful on the ice. Yeah, I'm never gonna skateboard. Like, they always say don't skateboard in the rain, but I never really listened to that. But I think now, if the weather isn't perfect, I'm just not gonna skateboard. Like, it's too big a risk. Braking distances on skateboards in the rain are increased just like if you're driving a car in the rain. So, yeah, I'm just not gonna do it. So unless it's completely dry, which it was today, to be fair, I am not going skateboarding. I made a bit of a mistake with this guy, I guess. Put some black, red paint over the transfer. That was dumb. Give that one a second coat. I like Vallejo Dead White so far. I'm using this. I'm using Vallejo White as well. I don't think it's called Dead White. I think it's just called Blanco White. I like it. I think it's better than Korax White for sure. Dwayne says, "I know you're not a good painter, but you give yourself too little credit." Dwayne, thank you very much. I mean, I'm only aiming for battle ready. That's what I'm aiming for. I mean, I want things to be accurate and look pretty decent, but battle ready is kind of my jam, so... You know, like, I'm too much of a perfectionist. I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but that transfer there has not... There's, like, little shadows in it, and it's like, it's not my favourite. I think as you get better, though, you start noticing more mistakes. I think that I've noticed, because I compared these guys to like some Marines I painted like 6 months, 18 months ago. I would say this is honestly the best squad of Marines I've ever painted in my life. I'm trying to think if this was a particularly slow squad for me to paint. I don't think it was any slower than normal. I think it's the same as anything. If you do it enough, you just get better at it. And I feel like my brush accuracy now is just much higher than it used to be. So here's the thing, if you think you're bad at painting, then just stick with it and just keep doing it, and eventually you'll get to a point where, like, random people like you just did will say, wow, that's a really nice paint job, and you can just say thanks. Appreciate it. The trick with white is to not actually paint it white, says Mike. You just go for like a very light grey or something. Good evening, Dirty Wizard. How are you? Hope you're having a nice weekend. Hey! You scared me.
War Thunder donated $10 via Super Chat.
Whoa. Thank you. That's got a cool new little animation in the thing. I didn't even know that was a thing. War Thunder, thank you so much. Well, the only way I got to work was taking Duncan Rhodes' advice. I mean, too thin coats with Corax White still feels like you're not going to get good coverage. I feel like when I used Corax White, I feel like I needed like 3 or 4 coats. That's why I gave up on it and went for a third-party white, honestly. But if it works for you, then don't let me knock it, you know? Some people say Corax White is fine. If it's fine for you, then go for it. Continue up. Thank you so much, War Thunder, for the $10. I do appreciate it. I'm going to buy a Stream Deck for the channel this month, which is a little box that sits on the table that lets me like punch things into it to make like my scenes work better and stuff like that. So I'm hoping I'm hoping to get one in the next Amazon sale, honestly. So thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate it very much. Do you have a question, War Thunder, or are you just feeling generous tonight? AP is getting slashed, some vehicles are going up to toughness 11. Could this be a return of the glorious Land Raider? I hope, and some people might disagree with me on this, I think it'll probably be like 50-50 people. Some people will like this, some people will hate it. And I hope that this this new 10th edition will bring back the balanced army. Like, I already kind of feel the balanced army anyway, right? Like, I always end up running like some form of shooting in my Blood Angels army. Even though I run a Whirlwind, I usually always have some sort of fire support in here. I would love it if it's like Blood Angels, their best list in the new edition is still like a load of jump pack units, but maybe you actually really want like 3 Ball Predators, and Ball Predators are like toughness 10 or something, and they just shred infantry, and that is like the core of a Blood Angels army, is like a few Ball Predators bringing up the fire support to like clear out screens, and also maybe do some incidental damage to nastier, bigger, larger targets. So I kind of hope that the new edition is going to say like the one-dimensional lists aren't going to be the be-all and end-all. I think that'd be cool. I don't know how everybody feels about that, but I think that in the Armor of Contempt season, where in every single Blood Angels list, because we do army list shows every week, right? When every single Blood Angels list for that whole season was like, alright, it's 3 squads of Sangre Guard, and it's 3 squads of Death Company, and then it's like the Sangre Ancient, the Sangre Priest, and probably Dante, let's face it. And that was what every single competitive Blood Angels list looked like. I thought it was boring, man. It was like, wow, there shouldn't only be one build for an army. If there is only one build and you get berated for not picking that build, then in my opinion that army's not in a good place. So I'm really excited. Who's going to get the new starter box? I think we will get a lot of people picking up the new starter box. Like, it's the thing about those starter boxes is they're usually kind of no-brainers, Robert, in that like you just get a lot more models in those starter boxes than you do in any other box. Like, I could fully expect, if you think of the Augustus box that has like, what is it? I guess a character, 3 squads of Marines, and a Dreadnought, and it was like, here in the UK, I think it was like 120, right? I bought it through a reseller, so maybe I paid like 100 for it, but it was still about 100 for 3 squads of Marines, a Dreadnought, and a character, right? I think that the starter box will probably be about the same in terms of like, I think it's going to be let me think about this. I think it's going to be a Terminator, a Librarian Terminator, a squad of Terminators, a squad of Sternguard Primaris with combi weapons, that Dreadnought, the Brutalis or the Redemptor Dreadnought with the twin link glass cannon, and twin link glass cannon missile launcher, right? So that's a Dreadnought, 2 squads, and a character. And maybe there'll be one more squad. I don't know what that other squad will be. I don't know if we saw another squad. Maybe it'll just be you get 2 Sternguard squads, or you get 2 Terminator squads. I don't know. But I think you'll get 4 squads. You'll probably get the same. You'll probably get 4 squads, a character, and a Dreadnought. And the interesting thing will be, in that box, you'll also get a ton of Tyranids as well, right? You'll get like about 500-600 points of Tyranids, because I guess that's about 500-600 points of Marines. And I don't think it'll cost double what Strike Force Augustus cost. I think it'll cost maybe like $20-30 more, like maybe 30% more. But I don't think it'll be anywhere near 100% more. So I guess what that means is if you've got a friend that collects Tyranids, you speak to them now and be like, hey dude, I'm thinking of getting the 10th edition box. I don't have any interest in the Tyranids. You obviously do. Let's do a deal where we both buy the box and I'll give you all the Tyranids and you give me all the Marines. And then for basically the price, because I did that with a Necron player for Indomitus. So basically for the price of like £20 or £30 more, maybe it'll be like $50 more if in the US, but like it's not going to be a huge amount more. For a small amount more than you will pay for that Strike Force Augustus box right now, you can get double, right? Because you can get your half of that Marine box, and you can get your friend's half of the Marine box as well, as long as you're willing to give up the Tyranids. And that'll be the cheapest and best way, probably, to acquire the new 10th edition models. But you might have to be ready to order them kind of as soon as they announce it, because if you remember with Indomitus sold out super fast, and if you didn't get a copy, they did promise like a made to order. They said like everybody can have a copy of Indomitus, we'll do a made to order, but the people that did made to order had to wait. They said that they would like ship them within 4 months. Well, that was their aim, but I guess they get so many orders it wasn't 4 months. Because I remember like calling up my local store 4 months after Indomitus shipped. I was lucky in that Andrew had bought Indomitus and he didn't care fully for the Marines at that point, so he gave me the Blade Guard, I think it was, and some of the Assault Intercessors, so I had them anyway. But you know, I was wanting my second box, or I was wanting my third box, because I think I got 3 boxes of Indomitus Marines. Or it was like 2.5 boxes. I got half a box from Andrew, then I bought a box, and then I traded a box with somebody. Will it be like the Horus Heresy box for value? I actually don't know what was in the Horus Heresy box. I'm not a huge Horus Heresy guy, but if the Indomitus box is anything to go by, then the value will be great. It'll be the best value that we've had in a while. And they tend to do that best value because it's also the starter set, right? Like it's the set that they want new players to come in and get into the edition. So essentially, it might be quite a few monopose models. So like let's say that new ranged Redemptor releases with twin las cannon and missile launcher, but you get the option to switch the twin las cannon out for like a twin plasma rifle or something. You won't get that in the box, right? It'll be like quite a monopose, like they don't give you all the weapon options sort of deal. But that's what I think. That's what I think. So if you have a friend that collects Tyranids right now, you should speak to them, and you need to be first. Because if you're not first, some other Space Marine player will have gypped you. Because I know that like there was way more Space Marine players than there is Necrons, because the guy that I'd already spoke to, I'd said to him, like, as soon as we knew it was going to be Space Marines Necrons, I was like, are you buying it? And he was like, yes. And I was like, do you want to trade all the Necrons from my box for all the Marines? And he was like, yes. And then like, in the days after that, there was like 4 other people that went to him and was like, are you buying it? Because I know you're a Necron player. And he's like, oh yeah, John already got me. A Flamer squad. I think it'll be a combi. I think it's a squad with combi weapons. Because you see a guy with a combi melta, and you see a guy with a combi flamer. I don't know if there was any other combi weapons on show, but you definitely saw the combi flamer and the combi melta. The Horus was a tank, a Contemptor, 10 Terminators, and about 30 or 40 foot soldiers and 2 Predators. Right, but that was all Marines, right? A tank, a Contemptor. I don't think you'll get 2 vehicles, not for Marines. I think you'll get that new Dreadnought for Marines. And then I think you'll get... I think they're going to give you at least 500 points of stuff. So if a Dreadnought's like 180, and Terminators are like 165, and then you've got the Librarian, which takes it up to about 450. Then you've got that veteran squad. So if you did the veteran squad, the Terminators, the Dreadnought, and a character, you're probably about 550, 600 points. They might have changed the points though, I guess, for the new edition. But I think then you'd be maybe looking at like maybe one more unit, or maybe one more unit. It's just me being greedy and it's just going to be those 4. Was there anything else in the trailer that really stood out to you guys that you thought that was going to be in the new box? Like, did anyone watch... I mean, I'm sure people have watched the trailer more than once. I think I've seen it like 3 or 4 times. I wanted to watch it again on my big TV. You know, I was going to actually do that last night, but the Diablo 4 beta was out, so I was checking that out, and I kind of forgot to watch it on my big TV. There was a plasma? Like what? A guy carrying a plasma, or what? The Gravis Apothecary. Oh yeah, there was a Gravis Apothecary. Good call. I forgot about him. So yeah, maybe the Gravis Apothecary. So you get 2 characters. If we go back to Indomitus, there was a few characters in Indomitus, wasn't there? So maybe we'll get like a Gravis Apothecary and the Librarian in Terminator armor. You think? So 2 characters, 2 squads. That's the veterans and the Terminators, and then the Dreadnought. I feel like there's going to be one more squad in there. I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's going to be one more squad in there. Material Witness is playing Diablo 4 right now. What do you think, dude? You enjoying it? What class are you playing? I feel privileged that you've got me on at the same time as Diablo 4. I mean, 1, maybe that doesn't mean that Diablo 4 is all that good, but 2, it also means that I'm competing with Diablo 4. How about that? Me on my own sim. And the Terminator Captain was there too, was he? What scene had the Terminator Captain? Was it when all the Terminators beamed in? Maybe I missed it and just thought it was a squad of Terminators. They will probably put those dumb looking missile launchers in the box too. I mean, will they? I don't think they'll put anything in the box that was just in another box. Are we sure it was a Terminator Captain, not a Sergeant? I don't know. I honestly don't know if it was a Captain or a Sergeant. Get a Mastercrafted Power Sword? That would be cool if they finally gave the Terminator Captain a Mastercrafted Power Sword. It always made a little bit less sense to me that his weapon was 1 damage less than everybody else in his squad. Or in case of, like, I guess Chain Fists, potentially 2 damage less than everyone else in his squad, right? Chaos Space Marines and Cultists. They'll definitely recycle units in those boxes. No, they won't. Come on. Good evening, Poninator. How are you doing? So Auspex seems to think. Well, I mean, Auspex Tactics seems to be update on everything, right? So if Auspex says he thinks it's a mastercrafted power sword, then I'd agree. I'd go with what he says. I think the box will have the Terminator Captain, the Terminator Librarian, the Gravis upgraded Dreadnought, a full boss lieutenant with combi weapon, a Terminator squad, and Stern Guard. Do you think the Stern Guard will be Primaris though? Like, I think it's a Primaris Stern Guard. I don't think they're doing Firstborn Stern Guard. I think it's it's essentially Primaris veterans, I guess, is what I think it is. And I hate it when these GW pots don't close properly. Just pull out like a giant bit of paint that's hardened in the seal. That. I was going to say that is a giant bit of paint in there. Or a giant amount of hard paint in the seal. God damn it. I don't even know where that bit went. There we go. Paint pot will close again. Good. Primaris jump assault marines? I mean, that's such a conundrum, Mark, because I think if they were going to give us Primaris jump marines in the box, they would have shown it off, right? Someone asked in chat, actually, like, today, they were like, should I not buy Sangre Guard because 10th is around the corner, and do we think we're going to get Primaris Sangre Guard? I was like, if they were gonna be doing like Primaris jump units en masse or any sort of like serious numbers, do you not think they would have showed something in the trailer? It's a little bit sad or a little bit disheartening because we've been waiting for that stuff for what feels like forever, but like, I feel like they would have showed something if it was even remotely close. I really do think they would have showed something. But who knows? I mean, like, really, who knows? I have no idea. If someone asks, like, should I hold off buying Sangre Guard right now because it's almost a new edition, I have no idea what to tell them. I used to always just say, if you want the models, you should just buy them and not worry about what the future has. But yeah, I don't have a clue. Do you think GW will improve Phobos Reaver stats for Blood Angels? I mean, I think that hopefully all units will get a proper looking at when they got converted from 9th to 10th edition, and I think we can all agree that Phobos... I think we can all agree that Reavers are like one of the worst units, that they're just one of the worst units. They basically have had no play. They're a cool looking unit, but they haven't had good rules for the whole edition. I don't think anyone really plays them ever. And if you've got a unit like that no one ever plays, then they're just wasted, I guess. So I would hope that GW know that no one plays Reavers, and they are thinking about some way that they could potentially have some life again at some point, right? Old boy, long-time Warhammer painter here, recently got into Gunpla, and some of their tools are really good for weathering. I'm probably one of the worst people to talk to about serious weathering or old tools, old boy, because I've said it a bunch of times, like, my painting skills are battle ready. I actually don't do any weathering on my models, so there's a lot. Like, if you need recommendations for YouTube channels that do all that stuff, I watch all of them, but when it comes to where I go in terms of like what time I have, I spend most of my time learning the ins and outs of the game and my army to the best of my ability, so that I can win like at tournaments and stuff. I feel like I'm never going to win tournaments for painting, so my focus is on playing, right? But if there's any questions you have about playing the game, that's what I can answer. And I can recommend about 10 channels. Some of my favourite YouTube channels actually are painting channels. I'm always jealous of how well they paint compared to me, actually. Mike says you spent 3 hours edge highlighting 2 Desolation Marines. That's why I don't do edge highlighting on red models, Mike. I'd have just recess shaded them and be done with them. I guess if it matches the rest of your army, though, that's what you've got to do. Brian says, hold off building battle ready everything else in your pile of shame. That's pretty much where I'm at, Brian. That's what I was thinking tonight. Like, I could have cracked out my Brutalis Dreadnought and the Desolation Marines and started getting some paint, or started getting them made at least so they could get painted. Oh, just give me 1 second. My daughter just woke up. I just need to reset her. I'll be back in 1 sec. Right, sorry. Yeah, so I think the best plan you can do is grab things that are almost finished, or grab things that are half finished, or grab models that have no paint on them and get them battle ready. Because who knows what's going to be strong or what's not going to be strong in the new edition. So, I mean, technically I suppose I should probably just get those Desolation Marines battle ready as well. But I have a lot, like, I have like 5,000 points of stuff that's... I mean, technically most of it's battle ready, right? Like, it's got 3 colours on it. But my thought was to just go and grab some of that stuff that's like almost finished and finally get it finished. So if I finish these incursors here very shortly, I'm gonna make a start on a couple of Death Company models that I've had both with infernal pistols and swords, power swords, because that's quite meta right now, I guess. Sellers believes Reavers will get a second chance. I hope so, Sellers, because I painted my Reavers and I spent a lot of time on them, painting them like Death Company, and like Mike said, did all the edge highlighting. And I think I played them with them in like 1 or 2 games and went, oh man, these Reavers suck. What a waste of time that was painting them up. I might even, do you know what? I might even jump on and finish the 2 Ball Predators I've got in the near future, because it does sound like there's a chance that your army composition in 10th will benefit from having some serious dedicated fire support, and Blood Angels have no better fire support than Ball Predators, I feel like. I do have that Gladiator tank that Mike painted for me. Thank you, Mike. I see you in chat. Good evening, by the way. Do you know what? I've just actually sent my next commission to... Well, I've ordered the next commission for Mike, so... Mike's going to paint me a set of boarding actions terrain, so we can get some boarding actions games on the channel with, like, fully painted terrain and shit. So I actually ordered that for Mike on, like, Thursday night. So that's my next commission. And that's where the hard-earned super chats that you guys give me can go to get better terrain for my... for our channel games. If they make a Blood Angel specific Gladiator, I don't know if they will, but that would be cool, wouldn't it, War Thunder? They show Blood Angels with a Gladiator Reaper in one of the pictures. Might we get a Baal Gladiator Reaper? I don't know. I think it's too similar. But I mean, there's this rumor that there's this rumor now that the Primaris keyword's going to go away, and if so, then I think it would be a good thing for the game, because I think it would sell them a bunch of firstborn models as well. But I think it could mean the return of stuff like Baal Predators as Blood Angels lists. And Blood Angels Baal Predators are kind of iconic. That reminds me, you need to buy a butt ton of Null Oil. Yeah, you'll need a few. I'm assuming you'll need a few pots of Null Oil for the boarding actions terrain, Mike. Me and Mike are actually going to try out that. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, Colour Forge. They're like a new place in the UK that's doing sprays, and they like colour match the GW sprays. Their cans are 25% bigger, and they're also 25% cheaper. So you don't actually... So it's kind of weird. 25% bigger and 25% cheaper equate to about 40% more value. I think, in fact, it's like 36% more value. I don't understand how the math works in that, but we're trying out Colour Forge, yes. I guess your Falchion will remain undefeated in 9th edition for you, right? Says Regaso. Did the Falchion remain undefeated? That's a good question. Did it? I never ended up taking it to a GT or an RTT. Was it never defeated on the channel? Not once? I know it won like 99% of games. I just don't know if it ever... I don't know if anyone ever beat it. Surely somebody beat it at some point, did they not? I had a lot of fun with that Falchion, though. I wish Inceptors had a power weapon option. I wish we just got Primaris jump assault units of some kind already, you know that? I really didn't think that we would be like... Because Primaris Marines came out at the start of 8th edition, I really didn't think we would be going into 10th edition and saying that even the 10th edition starter box, we still don't have jump Marines. Like... That's madness to me. Marines with jump packs have been a thing. You know, it's always been a thing that Marines had jump packs. Alright, I'm just going to touch up the tiniest little bits on these transfers now with black, and I think I'm done. I could be a little bit more pernickety, or I could worry a little bit more about these guys, but I think at this point, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to call this squad done. Just a couple of tiny little bits of transfers left. What do you think of the impact would be if 10th edition allows Primaris to fit into Land Raiders? Well, I think they need to get rid of the... I think they need to get rid of those restrictions where certain units... I mean, keep them if they make sense, right? Like, you can't put Terminators inside a Rhino, for example. I think they need to get rid of some of those Primaris restrictions. The interesting thing will be, though, if they... like, you know, like people are saying, oh, a Land Raider will be toughness 11. Well, arguably, if a Land Raider is toughness 11, a Repulsor should be toughness 11 as well. A Repulsor isn't bad if you compare it just directly to a Land Raider in terms of fire support. I guess the advantage right now is the Land Raider has a slightly better save, but that might not even matter anymore if AP is not so prevalent. So, if nothing else, there'll be more armor on the table, which I don't think is a bad thing for Marine armies. When I started playing Warhammer, you always had armor on the table as a Marine army. It was something you always brought. Like, you just always had armor. I mean, I remember many games, like, I'm talking hundreds of games, where, like, as a Blood Angels player, I would run, like, let's say, 3 Predators. Like, 2 with las cannons and 1 with an autocannon or something, you know? And then we got Baal Predators now. Again, loads of games with Baal Predators and regular Predators and even Vindicators. What other tanks did I have? Razorbacks, you know. You would honestly run Razorbacks just for the double las cannons on top. They were reasonably point effective to get like 2 las cannons. Blade Guard and a drop pod would be sweet. I think we need a Primaris drop pod, but yeah, so maybe they just need to get rid of the keyword and then they could let some, maybe not Gravis, but like if Blade Guard could go in a drop pod, that would be cool, right? I mean, you could have 3 squads of 3 in a drop pod. That might be really interesting. I think they were worried when they released the Primaris Marines that they would have balance issues, but I think it's been, if anything, I think it's been the opposite way, where Primaris Marines have actually been a little bit weaker maybe than Games Workshop had hoped they would be. There's no reason that they can't go in there now, I think. And if anything, because in one of the newest Blood Angels books, Dante rides in an Impulsor and there's no problems with it. And then in one of the books, Dante jumps on a bike, even though he's got a jump pack, and there's no problem with it. So it's just, I honestly think they were worried about balance, which is fine. I mean, like, if they're worried about balance, err on the side of caution. But I think caution has been erred on. There's nothing overly problematic with certain Firstborn or Primaris units getting in transports. Let's just move on and let's do that. Let's make it happen. I don't think it's going to cause any balance issues whatsoever. What other army would you play? So I've got Black Templar characters, and I've got 1,000 Suns, and then I've got shitloads of other games. Because I've got a Rebel army for Star Wars and Legion, and do you know what? I made all my Legion units over Christmas holidays because I had a broken arm over Christmas holidays. So over the Christmas holidays, I made all my Legion units, I sprayed them, And then in true Blood Angels Commander fashion, I put them back in the box, and I haven't even touched them since. I have no idea when I am touching them. They're literally in a box, just to my right here. I'll show you them in a second. But yeah, no, I don't know if I can ever do anything else than Blood Angels. Mark was telling me that new Star Wars game is coming out in June. He was like, oh, Star Wars Shatterpoint, I knew you were really interested in it. I know you like skirmish games. I know you like Star Wars. It's Shatterpoint. We did a video over on our podcast about it, and I was like, Mark, I haven't even looked at the video, but thanks for linking it. And honestly, if there's a new Warhammer box in June, then the new Warhammer box is going to 100% take priority for me, and it's going to be Blood Angels. So there's almost no point linking me to Shatterpoint. It's a little bit sad because I mean I do like the look of Shatterpoint. I do think it looks cool. Here's an example, right? Like, so this is just like a box. This is just sitting out of shop. I've got Tauntauns. These are cool. Super cool if you ask me. Sprayed these guys over the Christmas holiday. I've got Clan Ren, which is the Mandalorians. And these guys are very cool. Some of them are on like jetpack stands. Some of them are on bases. Where's one that's on a base? Actually, maybe these guys were all on jetpacks. I'd love to have time to paint these, honestly. Maybe one day. If you've watched any of the new Mandalorian stuff, these things are super cool. And then I've also got like a squad of rebels from the Hoth planet. You know, like when they're defending Hoth. Here's the guy with the big laser. Here's a guy in his like snowsuit, like a Sullustan. Here's some guy with a scanner from Echo Base. How cool is all this shit? I don't know when the hell I'm ever getting to it. That's only a small portion of my rebels as well. Mike, do you do commissions for Star Wars Legion? I probably wouldn't actually commission Star Wars Legion stuff, because if I'm commissioning stuff, I need to finish my Blood Angels. They're 100% they're my passion. They are my priority, and they will be my priority, honestly, for probably like the next 10 years at this point. I got a lot more painting done when I didn't do the Blood Angels Commander channel. But now that I do the channel, I guess half the time, like, before I did the channel, I did about 15 hours a week of painting. Since I started doing the channel, most of that time that I spent painting, I guess I spend making YouTube videos, so my painting, it becomes like 4. Some weeks I'll paint 4 hours, some weeks I'll only paint like this one stream tonight. This will be the only time in the whole week I'll paint. So based on that, it means that, like, well, that's why I did a giant commission with Mike, because I was like, you guys super chat me for the videos I make, and then I just pay it to Mike to paint my models, which I would have been doing anyway. But I guess the cool thing is we built this Blood Angels Commander community, and we can do things with the community, you know, we can leverage our power, we can create chat rooms, we can talk about things, we can figure out tactics, you know. That's the way it goes, I guess. So in some weird way, I kind of get the same amount of stuff done, and I kind of have the same amount of money, but it's different because now I commission the stuff and I make the YouTube videos. But yeah, I do miss getting more time to paint. Maybe when my kids are a little bit less needy, a little bit older, I'll get more time to paint as well again. So yeah, at the moment I've got, you know, I can have dreams about doing other armies, I can have dreams about doing other games like Star Wars Legion, but they're just pipe dreams. There's no progress getting made on any of those anytime quickly. I wouldn't expect that to even happen for like 5 years at this point. I haven't even painted all the stuff that, like I was saying earlier in the stream, I bought 3 boxes of Indomitus. I've got a box of Indomitus that's like half full of stuff that's not even been touched or painted, so like... Alright, I think I'm calling these guys done. I think they're done. I think I could probably find a few things to complain about on them. I think I'm done. Perhaps some of your armies could be kill teams. I mean, that was my plan with the Thousand Suns Turkey, is to do the kill team, like the Thousand Sun kill team. Just hear a child screaming at, like, I don't know if you can hear that on camera, but I can just hear a child screaming at the top of their voice. I guess that's my 1-year-old going crazy. He's my wife's responsibility tonight. It's a finished unit. Congrats, thank you so much. It is a finished unit. Where's the sergeant? This is a sergeant. He's got his little Horus Heresy transfer on there. His little knee pad. Blood Angel. You know what, my other squad of incursors is the squad that's got the mine, which is kind of ironic that I painted this one first, because the one with the mine is the one that's probably more, like, factually accurate now. But that's it. That's finished squad. The little knives here on these guys, though, like little edges here, paint sure does flake off them. Alright, I'll put these guys to the side though, because otherwise, if I don't, I'll just keep tweaking them. I'm going to color those tiny little bits there, so. Howdy! How you doing, Ivan? Good evening. Crispy Delicious. Good evening. How you doing, brother? I was going to say, what is crispy and delicious? Do you think fight first, fight last will still be... Do you think they'll do much with that in what do you think they'll do with that in the new edition? I'd probably quite happily see the back of a lot of those fight first last shenanigans. Make some armies just super obnoxious to play against. I don't think it's a great thing to try and balance around either. A good number watching from Twitch tonight. Yeah, I don't know why. Thanks for tuning in on Twitch. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm growing all the time, I guess. Maybe people just wanted to log in because they're like, I can't believe it, John's finished a squad. They're waiting to see the pig fly across in the background, right? Or what's the other thing they say when shit never happens? I forget what the other thing is. Here in Scotland we usually say pigs will fly, which means like it'll never happen. We should go get some whiskey because it's like celebration time, huh? This is why I have to put the models down, because you can see here, this guy I just declared these guys finished. And I'm like looking at them and I'm like seeing tiny little imperfections. I'm not really a Johnny Walker person, you know that? I don't actually think I own any bottles of Johnny Walker. I have a lot of different whiskies. Johnny Walker in Scotland, I don't know where you're from, War Thunder, but in Scotland Johnny Walker is seen as almost like quite a common one, I guess. And while some people swear by it, a lot of people in Scotland, I would say, ignore Johnny Walker. Peter says, good morning from Australia. I've been watching for a few weeks. It's too early for whiskey. Is it ever really too early for whiskey, Peter? I mean, it must be Sunday in Australia, right? Because you're 10 hours ahead? What you got going on a Sunday that makes it too early? Plus, I mean, like, who's gonna know? You can have a little whiskey in the morning. I should probably not encourage morning drinking. I'm sorry. Alright, I think I'm officially calling this guy down. This is last it. That's how you've been with your blade guard? Yeah, it's a skill to know when you can just look at the model and say, I'm done, I'm not going to do anything else. I'm happy. It's quite a hard skill to get sometimes. Because I think you could go back and forth and touch things up forever, right? Like, you're never going to have the perfect miniature. So I did see that one of the feet was wrong the other night, though, so I'm gonna have to fix this guy's foot. That might be the last thing I do on these guys. But my problem as well is that just off screen, you can't see it on the stream, is I am using like a 300% magnifying glass. What that looks like is, if I see the model like this, then I take it, let's see if I move the magnifying glass. So look at the difference. So, and here's the thing is, like, when you're using the magnifying glass, you see so many things that are wrong. But then when you look at it in your naked eye, you're like, oh, I just spent 10 minutes tidying that up, and with my naked eye, never really even noticed it. It can be the same sometimes if you take a photo of your models, and when you take the photo of your models, you're like, oh my god, look at that, that bit there is such a mess. How did I not notice that? And I was like, oh yeah, because the photo, everybody's phone takes photos in like 4K or even more than 4K now, right? So like in the photo you'll see the problem, but with your naked eye you're like, yeah, no, I don't, that looks fine. Why am I wasting my time touching that up? Says me as I go and touch up some feet that you probably definitely didn't see. I only saw it because I took a photo of these guys the other day for Twitter. Anyways. Photographs and matte varnish reveal mistakes you didn't even know could exist. Yeah, I'm going to varnish these guys for sure. I'm going to wait for the first day that's got reasonably low humidity. I think you're looking for like 55 humidity. And I'm just going to slap varnish on these. I do it on all my guys. I spend too much time and effort on them, and I know that the second I take them to an event, I'll probably drop one of them. And if I don't varnish them, then it'll be that I'll die a little bit inside, so... No, I varnish all my guys. As soon as I can, pretty much. Alright, I'm just gonna look at the last few feet and I'm done. Should make a video on how to move and screen block. I mean, I've made videos on the combat phase before, but they never really did very well. YouTube's weird like that though. You can make videos and you think that nobody likes them, right? Because the analytics will tell you like, hey, nobody watched this video and nobody's commenting on this video, and hey, we're not, and basically like on YouTube you kind of live and die by your last video, right? Like if your last video does crap, then like, you know, your channel just is doing nothing for a few days, it feels like. So I've done videos in the combat phase before. Mass, I could probably make some before. I can, if you search like Blood Angels Commander fight phase, I made like a really cool video in the fight phase where I got models out, and everybody that watched that video said like, hey, this video is really useful, really helped me do better in the fight phase, thank you so much for making it. But like the YouTube algorithm thought it was a pile of shit. And what I've learned having done YouTube now for coming on 3 years, I must have been doing YouTube for like 2 years, 9 months now or something. What I've learned in those 2 years, 9 months is I know fuck all about YouTube. Honestly, combat phase movement and shenanigans are some of the most important things for a combat army. Shame they might change in a couple of months. Hey, Atlas, good evening. Well, do you know what? Once we know the rules for 10th, I can definitely make that video for 10th edition. Because I think that I know all the ins and outs of the current edition really well. And like I did already say, like I did make a video on that. And I thought it was a good video. The people that did watch it think it was a good YouTube video as well, just the algorithm didn't think it was a good video. So it's hard to know sometimes, like if you put out a video and it gets 1/10 of your normal views, and it can be hard to know. I'm checking the feet on the last guy and I'm finished. Blast Shorts get the subs up. I think I'm kind of at the point, Fox, where I want to say I've captured the majority of the Blood Angels players. I mean, I do get new members or new subscribers every day. Like that does happen. But if we go back a year, like I used to get 50 new members every day. Now I get 10, and like, I wouldn't say, if anything, my videos are better than they were a year ago. You know, like I've got a green screen now that I can do more effects with. My video editing is better. I know the game better. So I think that like I'm kind of at the saturation point a little with Blood Angels. I still could, I suppose. Because let's face it, Auspex Tactics launched his channel as an Imperium Tactics channel. And he probably got to a point where like he'd got everybody that followed the Imperium had subscribed to Auspex Tactics and he wanted more subs. So I actually don't know how if that was his, I don't know if that was his mindset or what, but I mean, if you go back and watch Auspex Tactics early videos, he definitely calls it out, like Auspex Tactics. Because Auspex Scan was the name of an Imperial ability, right? He definitely said like, this is an Imperium Tactics based channel. And then at some point he decided that like he was growing really well and he wanted to keep growing, I guess. Maybe he was in the situation where I am, where it's like he had all the Imperium people subscribed to him, and he wanted it to keep going, so he started doing tactics for everybody, right? I don't know his story, I'm just speculating. Maybe some of you guys in chat know it better than I do, but you know, I feel like I'm at the point where, like, based on the numbers of growth that I have, based on where I am, I think I have most of the Blood Angels. Not everybody, I'd say like 80%. Some people won't subscribe to me because they don't like me, which is fine. No, I don't subscribe to every YouTube channel I watch. Some people don't subscribe to channels because they don't want them filling up their newsfeed. Some people won't subscribe because, yeah, I mean, maybe they, you know, I obviously always talk about a balanced approach. Some people don't want to do that. Some people, so I think maybe like I have let's say I have maybe 80% is generous. Let's say I've got 75% of all the Blood Angel subs, or all the Blood Angels players worldwide, 75% of them subscribe to BAC. I don't think there's much I can do. I mean, I'll keep trickling, I'll keep getting new people. Like, I don't really monitor it like I used to monitor it, to be honest. I used to be very excited, you know, like, oh, I got 90 subs today, this is amazing. And it's not that I'm jaded to it or anything like that, I just think it's like realistic to say, like, you know, when I was new and I was pumping out good Blood Angels content, then potentially, you know, a new channel, if you're a Blood Angels player, you're going to subscribe, and I've picked up a lot of people and we've made a lot of friends and the community's pretty big. You know, there's only 3,000 people in the Discord group, I think it is, and there's only 3,000 people in the Facebook group, but I've got like 12.1k subs now, so arguably, like, you know, I've got a lot of people to subscribe that maybe I mean, if you guys want to mention the channel, but I think the channel will continue to grow, right? Like, with or without, you know, it'll continue to grow. There's always new Blood Angels players. There's always people interested in what I've got to say, I guess. I just don't think that I'll ever... Probably, like, the absolute upper ceiling I can hope for, let's say, is 20,000 subs. If we get to 20,000, that would be insane. I think that would probably be the absolute upper limit that I can ever achieve, based on the fact that I get like 10 per day at the moment. So I do about 10 per day is actually high. Let's say I do 200 a month. So I can probably make like 2,000 subs a year. So maybe I can make 2,500 subs a year. So maybe in like 3-4 years we could hit 20,000, maybe. But the only way I could get more, I think, is I would have to open up to, like, I'd have to do more armies. I would have to do more wide-ranging content, and I don't think I'm interested. Or I've got a full-time job. Maybe if I didn't have a full-time job, I could do that. But like, maybe not being interested is the wrong word, right? Like, I'm always going to want a bigger channel. Don't get me wrong. But maybe it's a little bit like, is it like selling out? I don't think it's selling out. I do have some non-Blood Angels subscribers. Exactly. We got plenty of people like DTM. There's loads of people. People come. Isn't it Robert White, who's like a member for the longest time, who's in every stream? He was here earlier tonight. He plays Black Templars, right? So we've got people that aren't Blood Angels players as well, who are avid supporters of what I do, and I really appreciate and love those guys as well. Like, you know. So I think I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, right? I'm going to continue to do Blood Angels content, primarily, all the time, every week. That's why people subscribed in the first place. That's why I'm here. If I ever lost my day job, maybe I'd try and do more similar. Maybe I'd try and branch out, right? Because I'd have more time. I'd arguably have enough time to make an extra video every week, or more than an extra video every week. But realistically, that's not going to happen. Like, I like my day job. I work at it well. It supports my family. Don't get me wrong, YouTube supports my family as well, I guess. But like, and I mean, I'm really happy where the YouTube channel is. Like, I didn't think I'd get over 10,000 subscribers. Honestly, I had a goal to get 1,000. But I mean, it's why I don't make rumor videos, right? Like, I could make a rumor video. Like, I could make tons of rumor videos, and rumor videos get tons of views, and arguably they make tons of money, I guess, because they get tons of views. I could do that, but it's not really where my passion is, or it's not really where I'm interested in. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a new Dante. I haven't actually made a video on Dante yet because we don't have the stats. So I could have made a rumor video on Dante and got a bunch of views, or I could wait and get the stats and make valuable, meaningful content, I guess. And that's what I've done. That's why you guys have subscribed. I feel like that's what you guys expect from me. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I enjoy doing. I like getting into the nitty-gritty of the stats. Don't get me wrong, I like money as well. Hey, War Thunder, Superstar, in here tonight, donated $10, thank you. There's so many people with the green names that subscribe month over month to me. Thank you so much for that. I mean, that's super appreciated, you know? So it's like, I'm doing fine. I don't need to chase money on YouTube. Like I said, don't get me wrong, I love money just as much as everybody else. We were joking the other night on the Three Grots channel about how tight I am with money as well. Like, you know, like, I don't spend money if I don't have to. I'm very, very conscious, I guess. But yeah, no, I don't. I'm happy with the channel. I'm happy with where we are. I think we've got a great community. I want to be as good a Blood Angels player as I can, so I can continue to make those videos. If sometimes they cross over and help other people with like Marines or whatever, by all means share them. I don't not want to grow, like, don't get me wrong, I just don't want to move into something else, I think. Prepare my Blood Angels army for 10th. That's a cool video idea, Pally. I like it. I don't know exactly what I would do, but yeah, maybe that should be next week's video. Maybe that would get a lot of views. A lot of people are probably wondering exactly how they can prepare for 10th as well. Yeah, great idea. That's what I'm going to film this week then. I like it. I've been struggling a little bit with some of the ideas of videos for Arcs of Omen, because Arcs of Omen for me is a very strange season where, like, the balance, in my opinion, is a bit all over the place. Like, I don't think we're going to have another season where strategic reserves are free. See, Jim, superstar, have some more members, Jim. You are such a good supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, if there's any worries about me, like, ever disappearing or ever just like changing direction completely to get more views, I guess I'm just not interested. It's weird. It's weird to say that I'm not interested to get more views, because of course I want views. Anyone that creates YouTube videos wants views. Every time I put up a video on a Friday, I look at it a few hours afterwards, because YouTube they rank you. They say to you, this is your 4th best video out of the last 10 you've released. I'd be totally lying if I say I didn't look at that every week. You know, like, you do a video and then you want to know, like, hey, was that a good video? Did people like it? Is it doing well? So I look at that stuff. I do 100%. And I care about it. Like, I wouldn't look at it if I didn't care about it. I care about it a lot, but I think I'm going to stick to... My principles are, we're a Blood Angels channel where we make content that helps all Blood Angels players do better. And, you know, maybe one day that'll change, but right now, that's what it is. And hey, 12,100 subscribers is not bad. Hey dude, if Raid Shadow Legends show up and are gonna... I've heard of Raid Shadow Legends paying like £10,000 for an advert. Hey, they show up to me and they say they'll pay 10 grand to do a Raid Shadow Legends ad. I'm sorry, the Weekly Tactics video will have a Raid Shadow Legends in front of it. I don't think they'll ever show up to me, I'm too small, but... I mean, you know, like I said, I like money, 100%. But I think the channel is the channel, and I don't want to change it. I don't want to change it to get more views, I guess. And I don't want to make content that... I made a couple of rumor videos, and let's be clear, I'm not saying I'm never going to make another rumor video again. I 100%, if I hear a really solid rumor, if I know a rumor, then I might make a rumor video again, for sure. But, I just don't see that as, like, there's no value in that content beyond the initial, you know, the week it comes out is valuable, and then it's not valuable, right? No one's going to watch a Dante rumor video in a year's time. Whereas, like, someone might watch the Brutalis Dreadnought, is it the best stats or whatever in a year's time, right? I don't know. Random tangent on the stream tonight. I do have a 1,000 Suns mark. Yes, I've got them in the box. Like, I literally have the boxes right there behind me on the shelf. Where are they? Like, look, Rubik Marines. And I made a bunch of them. I've got Demon Prince right here as well. This is gonna be my 1,000 Suns Demon Print. So I have like 1,000 points of. I have 1,000 points of 1,000 Suns. I just don't know when the hell I'm gonna start them. I would have to stop making so many YouTube videos, which I'm not gonna do. But yeah, my original plan had been to make like 1,000 Suns my second army, and although I just have like 1,000 points of them right now, I mean I plan to buy them out to sort of a standard 2,000 points force. And I like the colour scheme of the 1,000 Suns a lot. I like those sort of Egyptian helmets, whatever you want to call them. They're kind of Egyptian, right? with the like green and yellow alternative stripe things going on, whatever you call that. In Arts of Omen, I just don't like the Doctrine changes. Iron Hands and Dark Angels obliterating everything in casual games. Yeah, well, Arcs of Omen is sort of a one season thing where like that's why I've not been taking Arcs of Omen super seriously, because it kind of screamed to me that like, hey, this is the end of the edition and these rules are probably not going to stay around for more than one season. And that's why I proxied Rebooty Gilliman rather than run out and buy Gilliman, because I felt like I'm probably not going to get to use Gilliman in more than one season, so it's probably worthless buying him. Cambo says there's a good amount of crossover with other Melee chapters. I think there is, Cambo, and like I said, I guess that's why Robert and some other people subscribe that are not Blood Angels players, because they enjoy the crossover or they see value in the crossover, but that's fine. I really like that other people from other chapters support the channel. I mean, it's kind of heartwarming, honestly. But I mean, part of the reason that people support is the community that we have is just, we have a very friendly, helpful community. In our Discord now, there's people that talk about all sorts of different armies, right? Like, we just opened like there's a League of Votann room in the Discord now that just got opened like last week or whatever, or maybe the week before. You could do painting guides for Blood Angels. Do you know what? Again, I've done some painting videos, and they didn't do very well. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to do another painting video. Like I said, it doesn't mean I'm not going to do another rumour video. I probably will 100% do another painting video. I might even do a painting video for the new Dante model, like how I do him battle ready. But historically, I guess, because I'm not primarily a painting channel, people don't watch my painting videos. It's fine. What other melee armies similar to Blood Angels are not red? White Scars, man. They're probably the closest, right? I mean, you can also paint Blood Angels in a non-red scheme. You know, we see a lot of people play Lamenters. I feel like anyone that plays Lamenters is a sadist, because who wants to paint those checkers on the shoulders is beyond me. That looks like way too much work. It has to be... War Thunder says it has to be doing with a gentleman. Do you know what? I appreciate that. Do you know what? I was so happy to win Sportsmanship at the last tournament that I went to. You wouldn't believe how happy I was. I think I was probably I won a tournament back in January, and I think I was more happy to finish wherever I finished, like 8th and win Sportsmanship, than I was than the tournament that I won back in January, which has kind of skewed my perspective a little bit of like where I am. Because like I really like to win games. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I love to win games. I love to fight really hard. I'm very competitive. But I also like games where you know the person you're playing against is like super genuine, and any rules are going to be the right rules, or if they're not, they're going to be talked about and they're going to be fixed. So you know you're playing it. Like, I'm sure you've done it, right? Like, I'm sure you've gone to a tournament and you've been drawn against somebody, and you've thought, it goes both ways, right? You've thought to yourself like, oh cool, this guy's a really good player, but it's going to be a really hard game, but you know it's going to be like super stand-up, like everything's going to be fine. Or you've gone to a tournament where you're like, oh, I've played this guy before, I've beaten him a few times, but it's going to be like it's going to be a stressful game because they're going to question everything you do. And I think like my perspective after winning that is sort of like, I like to be the person that like people are going to play against me. They know they're going to have a tough game, but they know that everything that I'm doing is going to be 100% fair. And you know, if there's any problems with any rule, we're going to discuss it like men, and we're going to sort it out. And yeah, that's I think, like, I heard that was something that like Steven did. I don't know if you guys know Steven. Steven was he has the channel Vanguard Tactics, and he really pushes that. Like, he wants everybody that does his like Vanguard Tactics thing to be like 100% legit with, like, anytime there's a rule interaction or anything that's complicated, everything is super clear and everybody's friendly, and it's all about having, like, yes, have a highly competitive game, but also have like a really fair / fun event, and make everything that your opponent does fun as well. And I'd heard him say that a few times, and I mean, I kind of considered myself a reasonably fair player anyway, right? Like, you know, I was at a tournament not too long ago, and someone forgot to deep strike their units, and so they would be dead. And I said to them, you know, like, oh no, you know, treat others like you would want to be treated. Like, you wouldn't want to be going home from a tournament going, oh shit, I forgot to deep strike my units. That could have been a big thing. I'm going to lose this game because I forgot to deep strike that squad of guys. That I kind of said to my opponent, you know, like, hey, I'm going to deep strike these guys next turn. Then I just fucking forgot about it. So I almost wanted, like, treat others how you want to be treated, and that's kind of, if that comes across, then that's really good. And for the most part, 40k is like that, right? Like, the event I was just at, where I won Best Sportsmanship, I don't have a bad thing to say about anyone that I played in that event. I guess they didn't have anything bad to say about me so much that they voted me to win the event, but that was a great event in terms of, like, everybody I played against was super fun, super chill, you know, willing to talk about things, make sure everything's right. I really enjoyed it. And I think as I get older, maybe that's more what I find myself focusing on a little bit in the hobby. Checkers, I'm building Harlequins right now, says Foz. Yeah, then you're a sadist, Foz. How many checkers are you putting on your Harlequins? I hope, can you do that with a stencil or something, man? Or can you get a transfer that is the checkers? Because, my god, that would be painful, right? GW didn't put the Lamenter's Chapter Master into Legends. I was going to paint those checkers. Who is the Lamenter's Chapter Master, Jim? Was he in an older Forge World book, was he? Space Wolves are actually in a really, really strong place at the moment in terms of their rules, I feel like. I played Space Wolves at the last 2 events that I was at, and while do you know what, I think I actually played Space Wolves at the last 3 events that I've been at. One of the events, the guy that beat me won the event with the Space Wolves, and the other 2 times I played against a very good Space Wolf player that this time round had a ton of Melta in his list, because Space Wolf get all those like free Meltas and stuff with Armor of Contempt. And Space Wolves to me have Space Wolves have surprised some people, right? Like they've won some events, and I think they're just generally pretty cool right now. They have like 3 ways of making the enemy fight last, which is pretty big, especially into Blood Angels. That can be like, oh, that can be our biggest nemesis, I guess, if we come into an army that has a lot of ways of making you fight last. And that's why I guess I lost one of those games to the Space Wolves. And the other games that I do run my lists with a bit of shooting, so I was very tactical. Like Woven obviously fight on death, and I knew that, and I'd had bad experiences with Woven, so I made sure that, like, if I could, I would pick off the Woven with like my Gladiator Reaper, or my in the previous event I think I had Dreadnoughts. Yeah, I think it was Dreadnoughts I had in the previous event, like Volkite Contemptors. Try to use them to get rid of the Woven, because I just knew that, like, if the Woven get into combat with me, that's a huge problem. Because even if I go first, I still take the full losses from moving. What are your thoughts on upgraded Sanguinary Guard? I don't know. I'd hope that they removed the keyword, right? I was hoping that they'd remove the Primaris keyword and Sanguinary Guard are just Sanguinary Guard and they're just Firstborn and we don't have to worry about rebuying all the models that we have. But I don't know what they're thinking on Sanguinary Guard, right? I kind of hope that that's what they do. Like, I can't see them making if they're going to make Primaris Sanguinary Guard, they're going to have to be significantly better, I would have thought. Like, +1 attacks or +1 wound seems to be the other thing that Sanguinary Guard, that Primaris become. So I don't know what they would do to make Primaris Sanguinary Guard, like, you know, here's a question. Here's actually the $1 million question. Terminators just got upscaled. Yeah, I guess when we see the rules on the Terminators, we'll maybe be able to better predict what might happen for Sanguinary Guard. But here's the $1 million question that maybe I'm missing, right? What Firstborn chapter-specific units have really been upgraded to Primaris and have become like an auto-include? Because I know, like, Space Wolves got those Reavers. I think they're called, like, the Hunters of Morokai or something. I'm not really a lore person, so maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong, but Space Wolves got, like, a squad of Reavers that have, like, better pistols. It's, like, super minor. It's like their pistols have 1 more point of AP or something. And then they've got, like, some sort of anti-psyker rule, right? But, like, arguably they're not that much better than Reavers. I don't... Like I said, I was at 3 tournaments in the last 6 months. Played Space Wolves in all of them. None of them were running those Morokai troops. So, like, arguably they're not that good if no one's running them. Out of 3 different Space Wolf lists, and I guess one of them would have been Nephilim, and 2 of them would have been Arcs of Omen. So, like, has anything been upscaled? Or has anything been given, like, Primaris rules that has just made it, like, auto-include for any chapter? Not, like, I know Blood Angel's got Primaris Death Company, but Primaris Death Company didn't really get any play, right? Because they don't have jump packs and they can't take multiple Thunderhammers, so people instantly kind of wrote them off as, like, hey, Primaris Death Company aren't that good. They don't have the right weapon options. So I know that the Space Wolf squad, I feel like, is just kind of in the same boat. That, like, hey, they're not that good. You could field them, but I don't really know what they would let you accomplish. And I'm not sure they're worth the... I think they're probably elites. I think Reavers are elites, so it's probably not worth giving up some other elite to take that slot for Wolves, right? So if that's the case, is there any army? Like, did... Ultramarine surely didn't get anything because they didn't get 9th edition Codex yet. Like, Scars didn't get 9th edition Codex yet. Salamanders, Ironhands didn't get 9th edition Codexes. So, what Marines did? Black Templars? I guess they got that Primaris Sword Brethren squad? Or Primaris Crusader squad, which are maybe a little bit better than the Firstborn ones. So we got that. Anybody else? Did anyone else get like a solid Firstborn to Primaris conversion that's like really valuable and you should definitely have? Or I don't know if there was any others. Death Company Intercessors aren't the best. Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree on that for sure. I think the problem with Death Company Intercessors is, as much as we complain about the weapon options, is the lack of jump packs, right? Like, I think if they'd had jump packs, we could have maybe seen them. Because it is a boatload of chainsword attacks. So if people had just wanted like a big squad of guys with chainswords to just jump in and kill a lot of units, chaff units that would die to chainswords, then we could have seen, I think, Death Company intercessors. But as it stands, we didn't see any, right? Infiltrators get constant use, but yeah, they're not chapter specific. What I'm thinking of is like chapter specific stuff, because chapter specific stuff would determine, like, if there was a lot of chapter specific things, then that would be why we could determine, like, hey, Primaris Sangre Guard might be a thing that we should wait for because they'd be really useful or they'd be really good, right? Because we got this other Primaris only squad or Primaris only thing. So yeah, asking the question if, like, do you think we'll get Primaris Sangre Guard? And I guess the answer is I've got no clue. And if we did get them, would they need to replace the Firstborn? I don't know, I think that'd be I think maybe the upscale thing that they're doing on the Terminators would maybe need to be how they deal with those units. Like, yes, you can make a new Sangre Guard kit. Yes, they could be very cool. But I think rather than make people go out and buy 30 more Sangre Guard, because that'll annoy people, it should just be a new kit that's kind of like those new Terminators. So if you wanted to field like some of those new Terminators mixed in with a squad of old Terminators, it would kind of look okay. It might be a little bit off, but you could probably make it work. I know I sometimes field metal Terminators with plastic Terminators, and the metal ones are quite a bit smaller. And I think it's fine. I don't think anyone really notices they're the metal / smaller variant until someone inevitably picks one up to like hand it back to me when it's dead. And then they go, oh wow, you've got metal Terminators. And I was like, yeah, some of them are metal, you know, some of them are super old. So I think maybe that's what we should expect. And I think that would probably be the win-win for everybody, right? Because you don't have to rush out and you don't have to spend... I mean, if new Sangre Guard come out and they're like $40 for 4 and you need 30 of them, that's the best part of like $500, is it not? 40 for 4 to get to 30, you would need like 8 boxes? 8 40s? Maybe not quite 500, but like 320 UK, probably 500 USD. It's a lot. It is a lot. I heard that they're removing the separation from Primaris and Firstborn, and that's why I think that's the best thing they could do. Because I think it gives everybody's existing model some life, and it also lets them do what they did with the Primaris Terminator kit, or the new Terminator kit. They're not Primaris, are they? They can just sell a new kit for old models. They can upgrade it. They can do that in their own free time. It doesn't have to be like, hey, it's a new edition, we need 15 million kits for all 180 pages of data sheets in the Space Marine Codex, right? $7 boxes in the UK, so in the US, so so you would be like $500 if you wanted to replace your Sangre Guard. And then however long it takes you to paint 30 Sangre Guard. For me, that's about... I was going to say, that's probably a year. I think I paint between 1,000 and 2,000 points a model is a year at the moment. I know that's really poor, but I mean, I do spend like probably like 3 or 4 nights a week working on YouTube. Hey, and I just finished my first model. I spent 55 quid on a kit for Age of Sigmar to kit bash with my Sangre Guard because I don't like the old sculpt. If you don't like the old sculpt, then by all means, I mean, I would kit bash them to slightly larger, because I think it's probably inevitable, right, that they will become larger at some point. I just don't know if they necessarily need like to be specifically called out as Primaris Sangre Guard. They could just be like these new Terminators. They're just Sangre Guard, but there's a new, better kit for them that has them a little bit bigger, which I guess some people will move to. Like every time you buy a new Sangre Guard, you'll move to that kit, and I guess over time, older Sangre Guard models that you have might get relegated because, hey, you've got these ones with the new kits, and maybe, you know, maybe the way they could do it is give the new kit like a new weapon option. Like maybe Sangre Guard could have like a built-in shield that gives them a 5-up in Vun. I know some people want the 4-up in Vun on Sangre Guard, but like I'm not necessarily talking about rules here. I'm just saying about how they could go about getting them into the field or the fold, or however you want to put it, right? We've got new Dante. It follows that we get a new Sangard. It just makes sense. They're the first unit you'd need for new Blood Angels. Yeah, I just don't know if they necessarily need to be called Primaris Sangre Guard, or if they can just be Sangre Guard on a new kit, I guess. That's my question. I think my preference is that they're just Sangre Guard on a new kit. I don't think they need to be Primaris Sangre Guard. Mark painted 5,000. Well, like I said, Mark, I painted a lot more when I didn't make YouTube videos for 4 nights a week. Like, typically my schedule for YouTube looks something like Monday night, I try and make some slides. Tuesday night, I usually try and make the video. Wednesday night, I'm usually gaming, like the live battle report, right? And then like Thursday night, I'm either doing a hobby stream or a grot stream. So like that's why I don't get much painting done. Like that. Usually I aim to finish all that stuff at 11 o'clock every night because I don't like giving up my entire evening. So I aim to finish that stuff at 11 o'clock, and then, but usually come 11 o'clock I'm too tired to do painting. I say that as I'm painting at 10 minutes to midnight, but Saturday's different. I've not been at work all day. I've not expended all my brain cells on my day job, right? And I probably got up a bit later today compared to like on a work day. I get up at like, I think I get up at 7:25. You work 5 days a week? Well, I mean, I work 5 days a week as well, man, and then I make YouTube videos in the evening, so it's just hard to do as much painting as I'd like. Anytime I'm on holiday from work, I like always try and like do at least like one whole squad, like try and bash them out really quickly as well. So it's like, because I have to, if I want to paint 2,000 points of models a year, that's what I have to do, I guess. I just broke one of those little blood drop things off his gun. Look at that. I mean, I should probably just keep that, sand one side of it, and it would give me a blood drop for some other model, but I hate those tiny little fiddly blood drops on the bottom of some of the pistols that you get. They're just too small. I'm just going to snip that one off. I don't care about it. Get off. I've tried to glue those things back on before. I mean, you can get them to glue back on, but then the thing is, like, you'll be at a tournament, you'll be taken out of your case, and you'll break it again anyway. So screw it. I've just got rid of it. They're so fiddly. Yeah, they are. They are tiny and fiddly. Is there any non-Primaris Sangre Guard in the lore? I don't remember if they said precisely how many had died at Devastation of Baal. I had a funny feeling that there was 1 or 2 alive, and by de facto they would basically have to become the leaders of the Sangre Guard because everybody else was dead. But it's been a few years now since I read Devastation of Baal. I think I read it before I started this channel. So yeah, I don't remember exactly. Maybe someone can fill us in. I really don't remember. Alright, I got a couple more minutes, guys, and I'm going to take off. If you've got any questions, now would be the time to ask them, or save them up for tomorrow night's Army List show. David says, don't worry, I've broken many of those trinkets off. Let's use it as a conversion opportunity. I think that's the plan, David. Hey, Gordon, hello. A new person. Thank you so much for becoming a company veteran, nonetheless. Not even the basic tier. Gordon, thank you. Appreciate it. It's always nice. We were talking about this like an hour ago in the stream. There's always new people. I don't think Gordon has ever spoken in chat. If he hasn't, I've missed it. I'm sorry, Gordon. Please say hello anytime you want. And welcome to channel membership. Please go over to Discord, link up your YouTube account to Discord, and you'll get straight into our members only room. That just happens automatically if you just give it a couple of minutes. In our members only room, I mean, I try and speak in there every day, or I try and answer questions in there every day. So hello and welcome. Thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. Here's another friggin' Games Workshop paint pot that doesn't close properly. It looks like I've previously scraped a bunch of paint out this one as well. God, I hate these paint pots. At some point they will do these paint pots in dropper bottles. Wouldn't that just be the shit? Some people convert them to the dropper bottles. I don't have time for that. I just want them to do it. I would pay an extra 50p a bottle, honestly, if they just put it into dropper bottles. Because it's just a pain in the arse when these things get so clogged up that the pots don't close properly. Then the paint dries out a bit every time you use it. Ugh, hate it. I'm going to kit bash the Brutalis as a Death Company Dreadnought. I'd love to see it. I kit bashed one. Well, I don't know if I kit bashed it as much as I just painted one of my Redemptors in Death Company colours. It's not quite finished, but it looked very cool. If you've never painted a Redemptor in Death Company colours, I highly recommend it. There's actually a really neat trick you can do with the GW paint pots. I'll show you in a second. Turkey, you know about turning them inside out, right? I'll do it because it's the end of the stream. I hate doing it in the middle of the stream because it's always messy when you do it, but I'll show you. Alright, well I just filed off the one that I broke and repainted the bit next to it. So goodbye, little squiggly yarn, squiggly blood drop thing, I guess you're gone. I'll take a photo as well of that completed squad and I'll post it up on the Facebook page later just for anyone that wants to see the photo. I think I'm pretty pleased with it. It feels good to complete another squad. It's been way too long since I completed a squad, I guess. Way too long. I take the top of the bottle, run it on hot water, you can flip the outer lid inside and the dry paint. Yeah, says that's exactly what you want to do, Werty. You can do that without it being without putting it under hot water. You can just, if you push enough pressure underneath here on the bottom of this lid, like here, and push it hard enough. It's not easy to do, and it's not clean to do. It probably would make more sense, like you said, to just cut them here. And I've done that on paint pots before. If you put enough pressure here, you can flip it inside out, and the second you flip it inside out, all that crap will come out. Like, it'll just come out. And it'll just pop right out. But like, it's always not easy to do, and it's very rarely clean. Like, you'll always end up with paint over your fingers and stuff like that. Running it under hot water sounds like a good idea. Because yeah, it's like, and also snapping it off this is a good idea, because otherwise you're like trying to balance it so you don't spill the paint and flip this inside out. It's a pain in the arse. But it does work. It does genuinely work. Alright, I'm going to take off. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Thank you to everybody that joined this channel. Appreciate it. If you're not subscribed yet, then please consider subscribing. I'm going to be back tomorrow night to look at army lists. We always look at army lists on Sunday night, about 9:30 UK time, somewhere between 9:30 and 10. And I often pool on the top and wash it with hot water, or sets the pot, says Clint. Okay, so loads of people do the hot water trick. Interesting. Maybe I need to do that. I have cut the tops off some of them. I think this was one of the ones I cut the top off. Yeah, I think I cut the top off because this one was like absolutely dying. How full it was, how crap gunked up the top was. They need to just start putting them in dropper bottles. Anyway guys, have a great evening. Thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out. Hit the like button if you wouldn't mind before you leave. I'll catch you tomorrow for the Army List show. About 9:30 UK time. Enjoy your evening. With the blood are we made strong. Peace. Oh, and follow on Twitch. And loads of people on Twitch tonight. Thank you. Appreciate it. Don't cut it. I just pull the ring out. What do you mean you just pull the ring out? What ring? I don't know what you mean. Send me a photo. Put it on Discord. I'll see you guys tomorrow.